Hey, everybody, welcome into STL Sports Central presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. And this is Domesticated Gamblers. I'm Eric Sontag. That is Tito Ulrich. Sean Cerwillo not available this week. Again, Tito, but you and I are here to talk some sports betting and cover our hometown teams from a gambling perspective here tonight and drop some takes, I'm sure, as well. So drop.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, you got plenty, I would imagine.
nobody's safe tonight, Jack. I'll tell you right now, Tito's fired up. And I don't usually interrupt you during your intro here, but I'm fired up. I'm ready to unleash some hot takes to the masses on STL Sports Central.
All right, I love it. I love to hear your guys' takes too. If you're watching, drop your comments in the live chat. Become part of the show. Everyone is welcome to participate, and I will read those comments. Also, hit the like button and subscribe to the STL Sports Central YouTube channel if you haven't already. On the show tonight, March is in full swing. So we're going to talk conference tournament basketball. We'll look ahead to Mizzou and SLU. The Tigers going to take on Kentucky tomorrow. Well, the Billikens will be in action on Friday morning against George Washington or Fordham. We'll touch on the Blues and St. Louis City SC. Maybe Tito's got some takes there. I guess we'll see. Also kick around some other topics, I'm sure. Going to close out with best bets as I go for 5 best bet winners in a row. So we've gotten hot here, Tito, so you guys don't want to miss that if you're watching. But Tito, as always, good to see your face. It sounds like you are loaded for Bear tonight. So how you doing, brother? Feeling good?
I feel phenomenal. I feel great. It's not March, it's March, baby. And so looking forward to talking a little bit of college basketball with you. I've been tailing some plays for you, and I don't know what this hot streak that you're on. Every play that I'm getting from you is a freaking loser. So absolute fraud, some picks here. I don't know what college basketball betting system you went over last week with the masses, but Tito's all fired up. I don't know what kind of analytical numbers you're talking about or what you're spewing over there. Tito's losing a bunch of money. I got 6 kids, folks. I got a bunch of things going on in my life, and this guy can't win me any money. So there's nobody safe tonight. So easy, you better strap in because I got a lot to say, a lot to get off my chest, Daddy.
All right, I'm a big boy. I can handle it. Yeah, I love when Tito loves to cherry pick 3 plays when I've made 124 college basketball bets in the conference tournament betting system. I believe Tito is picked maybe 3 or 4 of those plays. 3 out of 124. Picking the wrong ones. Dan in the chats, what's going on, fellas? Eric is a fraud. No fraud here, man. Every play we make, track transparent in the Action Network app. My username esontag, up over $2,500 over the last year and a half since starting to track my plays there.
What kind of screen name is this? Dan-YQ8HS. I mean, you want to talk about fraud, and yeah, I'm going to hold Eric accountable, but I'm going to hold any commenter on here that has a ridiculous screen name like that. I'm going to hold you accountable too. Put your actual name on there. You see Tito's name's on here. I got my handle. You can come at me on Twitter or on X, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And so guess what? I'm going to rip on everybody tonight, Danny. So you have a ridiculous chat name. I'm going to hold you accountable. So be prepared, Jack.
Yeah, I have a lot of Dans in my life. I'm not sure which one this is. Yeah, he enjoys your retort, Tito. Yeah, and this is actually why you're named Tito, because we were in college, and I'm like, I have too many friends named Dan. I've always wanted a friend named Tito for some reason. It was some drunken thing I came up with, and it has stuck. This is a nickname that has stuck for, I guess, almost 25 years now, Tito.
Yeah, it's what I go by. It's what I put on the side of my hats when people are asking me, "Hey, you got any hot takes?" And I give hot toilet takes, Tito's hot toilet takes from time to time. It's a little what is that called? What's it called with your name and it's all correlated. You got Tito, you got take, you got toilet. I don't know what it's called, but it's some sort of
an alliteration
or some baloney like that. So just fit me, fit my style, fit my brand. Tito's a great name, and I love having that name. So kudos to you for coming up with a dynamic name of like Tito for yours truly. So tip of the cap to you. That's the last hosannas I'm throwing at your feet, though. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, you're really going to be pissed right now, Tito, because I do have a little bit of news here to lead off the show with. We've had a lot of fun over the last year. Tito is aware of this, but Domesticated Gamblers is coming to an end. We have decided to step away, maybe you're not aware, Tito.
What are we talking about here? We're shutting this down? I mean, what kind of nonsense is this? We got two guys. We got a guy that's giving analytical numbers left and right. We got a guy that's supposedly Mr. Sharp. You got a guy that doesn't bet. And yet we've lasted a full year on STL Sports Central. And now you're breaking the news to me live on YouTube here. What kind of nonsense is this? I don't know what the hell this guy is talking about, folks. I'm flabbergasted, folks. So what an absolute fraud of a take. No, in all seriousness, yeah, it's something we've been talking about over the last several weeks and months. And it's about time to hang it up. And it's been a great run. Had a lot of fun on the STL Sports Central page. And just piggybacking off of what Eric has said, it's been a lot of fun, and I think it's time to hang our hat and just continue on with our daily lives. So loved every second of being with you, Easy E. Loved every second with being with Mr. Sharp, and it's gonna make Tito sad, but I'll get over it. We'll still hang out. We'll still be around. So yeah, there it is. So that's Tito's take on it.
Yeah, we appreciate the Godson in the chat. Awesome run. Godson's been a very loyal viewer for a long time now. So appreciate you guys that have been watching. Really, it just kind of just comes down to this. Like, it's like a lot of things in life. Like, you just got to ask yourself, is the time and energy you spend doing something have enough upside to continue doing it? And when the answer to that question becomes apparent, you make decisions accordingly. So we are going to have our normal show here tonight. We're going to go out in style with one last show next week, Tito, breaking down our favorite topic, the NCAA Tournament, shooting for a Monday night show. We're going to have betting picks and leans for all the first-round games. Tito, I hope that's not news to you as well. We're going to break down every game, have a pick or a lean. I think we should fill out our consensus Domesticated Gamblers bracket as well. When Mr. Sharp's in the house, we'll have a consensus, at least 2-1 on every play. But really, yeah, to echo what you said, Tito, like this has been an absolute blast. Remember this the rest of my life. I do want to thank Dave Green, who I've worked together with previously in another stop. He's been one of my favorite bosses in my career, and really thank all the people at STL Sports Central for giving us this opportunity to talk about sports and sports betting over the last year. I know it's been a huge passion of mine. Loved having the opportunity to write about it as well on stlsportscentral.com. Kind of surreal seeing my name up there with an article right next to Bernie Miklasz and an article that he has written. That's kind of a childhood dream come true. So we'll say final goodbyes for next week when we're all here, but just definitely wanted to let you guys watching know what's going on. We appreciate you guys. We wish there were more of you. And like, I guess the only thing that can throw a wrench in this, Tito, we've committed to staying on through the end of the Mizzou basketball season. So maybe these Tigers can go on a run and make the Sweet 16 and we end up doing another show. But we've been fooled by this before, Tito. We started Domesticated Gamblers 3 years ago on our own channel. That was the year Mizzou made the tournament, first year with Dennis Gates. They beat Utah State in the first round. I remember we had a show, but we had Princeton coming up in the second round. We're talking about, all right, this is happening. We're going to the Sweet 16. I remember we watched that game together. We didn't even get a sweat. So, like, I don't know about you. I'm not counting on Mizzou making a run next week, but maybe we'll get lucky and get an extra show out of this, but I'm not feeling too great about that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. The Mizzou, I think, is on the bubble again after losing to Arkansas this past weekend. So hopefully they can beat Kentucky tomorrow and solidify their spot. I would be hard pressed to think that they won't make it if they win tomorrow morning. I think they'll make it easily. But yeah, who knows what the Missouri Tigers and this front of a coach Dennis Gates. I don't know what kind of system he's running over there. He's got this big 7-footer guy that is totally uncoordinated. He's got him running extra minutes now with high profile games going on. So I'm not too enamored with the player rotation he's got going on. But like you said, maybe they shocked the world. Maybe they do what they did back in 2002 when Mizzou was a 12 seed. And we had Clarence Gilbert, we had Kareem Rush, we had Arthur Johnson, we had Ricky Paulding, we had all these guys that made that magical run to the Elite Eight, and then they couldn't hit the free throws and got bounced by Oklahoma to make it to the Final Four. So maybe we have that in them, but we're not gonna count our chickens for something like that to happen this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We got Dan in the chat saying, will we still have toilet takes for Tito?
Oh, Tito dropped a bomb of a toilet take earlier this afternoon. I didn't publish it But my, oh my, I got takes to deliver. I'll never stop delivering hot toilet takes. So if there's a take to deliver, I'll give it to you, Dan, or whoever this fraud is. I'll give it to you, Easy, and you'll get a hot steamy take every once in a while from yours truly.
Yeah, we got Domesticated Gamblers on YouTube, Facebook, at Gambling Dads on Twitter. Of course, you got all of us on the Action Network app as well. Yeah, what a big wolf news this is from Dan, but hey, gotta do what you gotta do. B Fishman, also another great viewer, saying frauds for leaving, but he enjoyed this. We've enjoyed talking gambling with you every week. B Fishman, keep hitting those parlays for us. I do want to talk a little bit more about this Mizzou game, but first, someone I definitely want to thank is our great sponsor, and that is James Carlton with State Farm Insurance. He sponsors our Mizzou coverage here on the show and has for about a year now. And he's my insurance agent. He's Tito's insurance agent. We thank him for his support here on the show. I talk about it every week, how making the switch over to James saved me over $800 over the course of last year. I was also looking at the Google reviews for James today. Dude's now up to 490 5-star reviews. And I saw this one posted about a month ago. It says the service and communication that you get are world class. I have a hail damage claim going on, and they kept me updated very consistently, always asking if I needed anything else and how things are going. Plus, I just referred someone to James Carlton, and they got a yearly savings of $3,600 on auto and rental insurance. Couldn't ask for a better group of people. So there's just another example right there, guys. You could save hundreds in my case, or in this review's case, thousands of dollars on your insurance this year. So to get started, just head to carltoninsurance.net. There is a very simple form you can fill out on there that takes like 2 or 3 minutes. Just put in your name, phone number, and email address. I would recommend attaching PDFs of your current policies as well. You can just type in one sentence like, hey, I would like to get a quote on this exact same coverage and see if you could save me money. Hit send, you're done. And you can also help your Tigers as well. Just mention Domesticated Gamblers or STL Sports Central. When you get that quote, they're going to make a $20 donation to Mizzou's preferred NIL fund, which is the Will to Win Fund. So go to carltoninsurance.net or call 314-961-4800 if your insurance costs a leg and an arm. Call James Carlton, State Farm. I want to talk a little bit more about this game against Kentucky tomorrow in the second round of the SEC tournament. Like, from everything I read and look at with wins above bubble, Tito, I know we have WAR in baseball. Now we have WAB in college basketball. So looking at all this stuff, I think the Tigers are in the tournament no matter what happens tomorrow. Before I go any further, any thoughts on WAB, wins above bubble, Tito?
Yeah, wins above babble, bubble, whatever the fuck you want to call it. What again is Exhibit A as to why basketball is not what basketball used to be when Tito was a youngster playing for St. Martin Artours in the CYC League. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, bubble and babble and all this nonsense. How about we just stick to points per game and what you've done over the last 10 games, and then see if you can hit your free throws. And then all of a sudden, if you can hit your free throws and have some outside shooters line it up, then guess what? You're going to be a pretty good team. And how about the fact that if you win 20 games, you're automatically in the tournament? I don't want to hear any of this nonsense about what is it? Quad 1, quad 2, quad AAA. I mean, it's a bunch of nonsensical nonsense. You got this guy, Ken Palm, who's never shown his face ever. And you got this guy coming up with some analysis or some fucking stats who no one understands it. And this guy is just some sort of math wizard that you don't know anything about. So it's an absolute dumpster fire of a stat. What a big wolf. And I go figure, Easy coming up with some different stats or some different analytical nonsense and to hang his hat on. What a big wolf that is.
Well, all I know is that the committee is using this damn thing. You just Google wins above bubble rankings. You'll see it there. It's on the NCAA official website. And right now, Mizzou and SLU are actually back-to-back in this thing, in these rankings, which is pretty crazy, 40 and 41. So just again, like everything I read about Mizzou and looking at this wins above bubble rankings, it sounds like they're going to get in no matter what, even if they lose to Kentucky tomorrow. The problem is, if they lose, I think there's a good chance they're going to get shipped off to Dayton for the first four, which would just suck because it doesn't feel like the real tournament. Like, I know they call it the first four, but let's be real. Like, these are playing games. Like, you don't really get the real tournament vibe until that Thursday and Friday. You're with me on that? I mean,
Eh,
it goes down as a tournament bid, but it's not a real tournament bid
Yeah,
unless you
it's
win.
not a real tournament. Yeah, it's a playing game, and it's just a way for get a little bit more excitement for that Tuesday and Wednesday before that Thursday morning hits, and you have great gumbo and all that nonsense, all that fun stuff where you're waking up early morning Thursday watching some basketball and calling off of school and playing hooky for the next 2 days. So yeah, I don't necessarily think that the Tuesday and Wednesday matchups, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if SLU, Mizzou, Illinois have they ever participated in a Tuesday or Wednesday first four game. Not that I'm aware of. So maybe if Mizzou can get into one of those and they can pull out a win, maybe we will start getting a little bit more excited about those types of games. I don't know.
Yeah. It just really makes me nervous when you got a one-game situation there, in particular when it's a team as Jekyll and Hyde as Mizzou. So like this is a massive game tomorrow with
Yeah.
UK. It's almost going to feel like a road game just because the Big Blue Nation, they travel everywhere. Nashville's not far away. Kentucky is expected to win this game. They've opened up as a 3.5-point favorite. Total's 148.5. So if you guys got thoughts on the Tigers, throw them in the chat. This is a pass for me from a betting perspective because it does not fit the conference tournament betting system because Kentucky failed to cover the spread today. So that means it doesn't fit the system. I talked about this last week on the show. Get about 200 bets over a 2-week span. Tito just likes to cherry pick 3 or 4 of them and lose. But this system has been profitable 7 years in a row. It does look like it's going to be tight this year, Tito. The record as of now, I'm exactly 500 this year, 62 wins and 62 losses. So we got a few days left to get this thing to, it's 52.4%. That's what you got to be profitable when you're betting everything right around minus 110. So no official play for me on this game tomorrow. I mean, like I said, this is Jekyll and Hyde team. I have no idea what to expect from this Missouri team. The good news is we know they can beat this team. They already won at Rupp. Final was 73-68. So 141 total points scored. And that has me thinking the under is going to be the best play if you're really looking for action tomorrow. So under 148.5 is my lean. Mainly because I looked back at the stats of that first meeting. Mizzou had a really good shooting night, 52% from the field, also above their season average from the free throw line, which is not saying much. Both teams shot above their season average from 3, and the game still went under with just 141 points. So that's why I lean under, but I won't be betting this one. I'm just going to be watching like nervous as all hell because like if they get sent to Dayton and they lose, like this is just like the ultimate, like it's like a cock block. Like, you're like right on the cusp of like getting all this excitement, watching your team on Thursday or Friday, when you take off work and you got your pizza and your beer and you want to sit down and watch your team. And if it just gets ripped away from you because they lost at effing UD Arena on a Tuesday night to SMU or some shit team like that, it's just going to be such a bummer. This is my cock block analogy. Does that fit here, Tito? I feel like
Sounds like you have a little bit of blue balls going on too. If something like that were to happen, you had to take care of it yourself. But my goodness, I'm with you though. I don't like any of these plays. I have a weird feeling. The SEC didn't do Mizzou any favors either. You're fighting for your lives, and you're right. It's a Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde type situation, and with it being the first game of the day, and it's early in the morning, and Kentucky played today, and what Mizzou shows up. I have a feeling that if Mizzou shows up and you might win by 15 or might win by more than 15. But if you don't show up, I have a feeling that you might lose by 15. So I mean, there's the yin and yang to this. It can go one way or the other. So I don't like any of the spreads. I don't like the over under on this. I'm on ESPN. I see over under of 150.5, and you're referencing a 148.5. So maybe there's a line there. You can take advantage of a number if you like the over. Find that lower number and then pounce on that number. And then I know there's been some boost that the books have been promoting as well. So take advantage of those for these early morning games. They want those actions. So if you have a lean. Definitely look at those different plays and figure that part out. But yeah, for me, I'm going to stay away from this. I'm just going to watch it. I'll be screaming at the TV, hit your free throws. And Dr. Gates, you better get a TO, baby. So luckily Kentucky doesn't have Johnny Calipari anymore. They got this Pope guy. So what a big wolf that guy is. Big ogre guy. Looks like a big dummy if you ask Tito. So they need Tito on the sidelines there at Rupp Arena holding the Zebras accountable. I'll tell you that right now, Jack.
Yeah, you're right. I see 150.5 at one book. Yeah, it's 148.5 on DraftKings. Spread ranges between 2.5 and 3.5, depending on the book. So as always, shop around, get the best of the number, depending on what angle you like. We got Matt in the chat. Welcome, Matt, to the chat, saying blue balls. Like, this is basically, I've had 44 years of blue balls as a Mizzou fan. Like, that's what this is. They get you close, and then they just rip the rug right out from underneath you.
And this guy knows all about blue balls. You see, he was all jealous this past weekend. He's a CYC referee over at the Joan Dome, and this guy, he's smoozing other referees that have got the action. He's kissing people. He's taking his shirt off. He's caressing these guys, and he's trying to hold Tito accountable for the lack of winnings that Tito's club came up with over the last couple of weeks. So that guy knows all about blue balls. I'll tell you that right now, Jack.
Dan says, looks like a big dummy. I think he's enjoying it a lot. Yeah, Tito's loaded for bear tonight. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, we got plenty of show still to talk about, see what's on Tito's mind. Yeah, Matt, enjoying your comments as well. Yeah, I'm nervous, really, really nervous about this game tomorrow watching Mizzou, but like, I'm going to be an absolute wreck on Friday watching the Billikens. Like, this season's been so magical. Speaking of blue balls, and SLU Billikens blue, I feel like this is slipping away from us, Tito. Like, they've obviously been struggling. They haven't been able to adjust to how teams are defending them. Now, Robbie's got this plantar fasciitis. That is not something that just gets better anytime soon. He's just going to have to deal with it and fight through it as best as he can. And again, if you look at wins above bubble, which again, everything I hear, this is a very important stat the committee is using. The Billikens are actually just they're actually one spot below Mizzou. And most people are talking about, I think Lenardi's got them in as of just a couple hours ago, Mizzou as last four in. So heading to Dayton already, where he doesn't even have SLU as last four buys. I guess he has them at least now safely in the field. I'm guessing they're probably the next team to go into last four buys. Also find it interesting, the team right below SLU and wins above bubble is VCU. And so that's a little situation you got to deal with. I got to think if it comes down to SLU and VCU, SLU would get the upper hand for sweeping them in the regular season. Whole point of this, though, I know a few weeks ago we were thinking like, oh man, like, could we see SLU and Mizzou play each other in tournament? But we were thinking like a 7-10 matchup, maybe a 6-11. Now I actually think there's a decent chance they face each other in Dayton in the first four. Like, if the Billikens lose, for real though, like if you look, because I'm not really seeing SLU in danger in most people's bracketology. Lenardi's got him as a 10 though. And if wins above bubble, they're below Missouri. If they lose this first game on Friday against GW or Fordham, I'm very nervous on Selection Sunday. I guarantee you Josh Schertz is going to be nervous because this is starting to feel a lot like that Indiana State team that got left out a couple years ago. I looked this up. This is starting to get eerily similar, Tito. That team was 28-6 overall. They were number 29 in the net. They got left out. If SLU loses Friday, they're going to be 27-5. They're currently 27 in the net. And obviously they're going to drop if they lose to GW or Fordham. So, like, you got the potential bid stealers out there. I mean, you got to root like hell if you're a Mizzou or SLU fan that Miami, Ohio wins the MAC tournament because they are getting in. There was no way the committee is going to leave them out as an undefeated team if they don't win the MAC tournament. So let us know if you're watching, your thoughts on the Billikens in the chat. My stomach is already in knots about this, Tito. I don't think I'm being negative here. I really think I'm being realistic. Especially when looking at this wins above bubble, which maybe I'm looking too much into it, but just where you're
looking way too much into win above bubble or what that nonsense. And the fact of the matter is SLU hasn't looked right for the last month. Ever since this Josh Schertz nonsense about him moving to a higher profile job, the team hasn't been the same. And that's when Tito came out and said, if you're Chris May, you got to lock this guy up now. Get all that noise out of there. And you poo-pooed it. Mr. Sharp poo-pooed it. Everybody poo-pooed it. And I can't stand it. I can't stand the fact that we're still having this conversation about Josh Schertz and about what's happened in the past with Indiana State or Illinois State, wherever he coached beforehand. But the fact of the matter is, he better make some adjustments now, or he's going to be in the same category that I see Dennis Gates in. Okay, you better repossess that spoonball knowledge that you had earlier in the season, and actually get some open looks for Sharma, get some open looks for Dunlap, get some open looks for some of these other players, and not rely heavily on Robbie Avila. Like you said, he's got this plantar fasciitis nonsense, and then you don't have anybody else that can pivot and come up with some offensive numbers. And so I'm not optimistic whatsoever. You lose by, 86 to 57? I'm not smart at math, but what is that? That's almost 30 points. You lost on the road to George Mason by almost 30 points. It's not just a one-off, okay? The fact of the matter is you better get their asses in gear shirts, or guess what? Tito will be holding you accountable on a regular basis moving forward. And yes, I think that if they don't win against whoever they play on Friday, I think there's a chance they get left out. This end of story. So, and if they get left out, my goodness, I told you a few weeks ago, they get left out, this fucking flag behind me is getting ripped down, and I'm burning it to the ground, Daddy. I'll tell you that right now, Jack.
Oh, God. Yeah. And we got Blake in the chat, too. What up, Tito? Yeah, Blake's enjoying the takes. Matt saying this is terrible. I don't know if that's referring to your take or referring to SLU. I'd be stunned if they totally get left out. I think Dayton is a worst case scenario. I shouldn't say worst case scenario. You just never know what the committee is going to do. You could have almost all the bracketologists saying they're fine, but we've seen there's usually one team every year that's like, how the hell did they get in? And then how did this other team get left out? And I just hope that's not.
Look those kids in the eye and tell them that they're not going to make the tournament, right?
Yeah, with North Carolina.
There's a chance that happens. Yeah,
exactly. North Carolina last year, no one thought they were in because they didn't beat anybody. And somehow they showed up on the bracket in the first four, and then they beat the hell out of, I think it was San Diego State or something. Yeah, Matt saying SLU has been terrible lately. Yeah, it has not been good as of late. It's just like, I personally think if you are a SLU fan, be rooting hard for Fordham against GW tomorrow. Like, Fordham plays really good defense, but man, they're a terrible offensive team. Like, they cannot shoot for shit. They're number 359 in the country from three. All right. So I think SLU would grind them out over 40 minutes and find a way to win, even if it's a struggle and an ugly game. But man, I'm going to be terrified if it's GW. We already saw it earlier this season where SLU had to make this huge rally in the second half to come back and win. And I feel like they fit the recipe of who the Billikens have really struggled with recently, where it's a really good offensive team that can fill it up. They're a pretty solid defensive team. And I just think I trust the teams that are competent defensively now know the formula to hound the Billikens on the perimeter, where, like you said, Sharma, Dunlap, Green, they're not getting many open looks anymore. And then just the biggest problem with GW, if the Billikens try to get to the rim, they have that monster Castro, who's probably the best rim defender in the A10. So I would be very concerned if it's GW. I would definitely like them on the spread. I've already thought about this. This is going to be an emotional hedge for me as well, but I think it's actually GW on the money line, I think would be a good bet, because I just think SLU's in a world of hurt right now. I just like even the two home games that they won recently against Duquesne, it was a 2-point game with 4 minutes to go. And even against Loyola, it was an 8-point game with 8 minutes to go. Yeah. And like, I just feel like this team has totally lost it. And with Robbie not healthy, that is a major thing. I think this is really trending down. So like I said, I'd be very surprised if they missed the tournament entirely. But getting sent to Dayton for the first four, I would say if they lose Friday, no matter who it's to, I'm expecting to see them on the bracket in Dayton. Maybe people think I'm an idiot for that, but just this wins above bubble thing's freaking me out. I do think if they win on Friday and even lose in the semifinals, I think that's enough where they're probably a 10 seed. They're safe. They're playing on Thursday or Friday next week in the real tournament. We don't got to worry about Dayton. But my God, like if you want to see a 44-year-old man be an absolute emotional wreck as Tito just drops his phone, just come to my house, Tito, Friday morning from about 10:30 to 12:30. If you want to see me just like absolutely losing my shit. And it's just part of this, like our spring break plans next week hang in the balance of what happens here. Like we've been planning for weeks now to follow the Billikens wherever they get sent in the tournament. Like if they could shift off to Dayton, I don't know what the hell we're going to do. Like, are we supposed to drive to Dayton on Tuesday or Wednesday, which is like 6 hours away, which I think I would do that. But then if they win, we come back, we pack, and we take a flight somewhere the next day. I have no freaking idea, man. But
sounds like a great time to me. It sounds like a classic thing to do, especially it sounds like a good bachelor kind of thing to do. Taking a daughter and a wife around like that doesn't seem ideal, but I was just while you were spewing all this nonsense, all these analytical numbers and talking about hedging and all that fun stuff, I was actually looking up George Mason to win the A10 tournament. I think the way that they're playing, if they can beat Fordham tomorrow and then they upset SLU, I think there's a strong chance that they can run the table and win the conference tournament. I think I see on DraftKings, it's at plus 4,000. So if you see them beat SLU, if you're optimistic about them playing SLU, might put a little sprinkle on George Mason, take a little lottery ticket play and see if that baby can cash, and you end up having a little bit of a good little bankroll there that you can take advantage of. But I know you've been talking about it for the last month or so about following either the Missouri Tigers or the Billikens around on March Madness, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to March Madness. I got tickets. Me and some dads are going down to Enterprise Center next Friday. We got tickets to both sessions, and we're gonna pony up and have some fellowship. So I'm looking forward to that. But I was kind of anticipating having either the Tigers or the Billikens being there with all the travel restrictions or some of the things that are going on in the world. I thought the NCAA might put one of those guys, here in St. Louis at one of those first round games. But if you're in the bubble, if you're one of the first four in, you ain't coming to St. Louis. You're going out somewhere else. So hopefully they can win a game or two and then solidify their spots.
Yeah, the only way I could see that possible is if SLU or Mizzou does get a 10 seed, and that travel restriction thing is a deal where they're trying to keep teams closer to home.
Yeah.
I could see Mizzou or SLU being a 10 seed in St. Louis potentially, but they got plenty of work to do. I think you might have been confused with George Mason and it would be George Washington the Billikens would play in their first game. George Mason would be the next game. But your point is well taken. I actually did sprinkle George Mason to win the A10 tournament. I got it at plus 3,500. Just because I see they have this talent. George Mason just putting it on SLU. They started the A10 season outstanding. They went on a little dip down the stretch, but they got healthy. I think you've seen it in this tournament. We saw it with the Billikens in 2019 as a 6 seed, taking it all the way, 4 games in 4 days, winning the thing. We've seen Richmond do it in the past. We've seen Duquesne do it in the past. So I think there is some Duquesne. I think they won a game in the tournament too, if I'm not mistaken, in the real tournament. But I think George Mason at plus 3,500 would be a good look. And George Washington is a very dangerous team. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm really, really hoping it is Fordham. GW lost to Loyola in the season finale this past weekend.
Pretty good.
Which it makes me think that people might think George Washington is no good, but just I've seen this team with my own eyes. They are very scary. And this Castro, he's a problem. I heard Shirts interviewed on KMLX this week on the coach's show. Bob Ramsey does a great job. And they were talking about the mid-range shot and just why, basically tell us, why that is not part of your offense and why not just let some of these guys take some mid-range jumpers if they're clearly just hounding the perimeter. They're not giving any open looks from 3 from our sharpshooters, and they're guarding the rim. And so you can't get any easy layups, especially this Castro dude's going to be such a problem if they play GW. And Shirt said, I will let a guy take mid-range jumpers if he shows me he can do it at least 1 point per possession, which is shooting 50%. But he said all of our guys are shooting in the 30% range from the mid-range. So they don't have this ability. They haven't displayed the ability to be able to shoot at least 50% from mid-range. Now, I would counter that partly. These guys probably don't even practice mid-range shots because they know it's not part of the offense. And I do think this is kind of a flaw with this system of Shirts ball. I love it. 3-pointers, layups, dunks. But if the other team knows they don't need to guard the mid-range, just logically, that is a problem. They just guard a 3-point line and guard the rim. And so I wonder if an adjustment, it's too late for it for this year. I get it. I wonder if this is something he needs to recruit next year. Think back to a guy like Javante Perkins, Tito, if you remember him, who was really silky, pull up for that
Yep.
15-foot elbow jumper. I don't know if he hit it 50% of the time. I'd love to see the stats on that, but I wonder if that's kind of the missing piece in this team is someone like that who can stick a 15-foot J from the elbow. I think Shirts called it a mastery shot. If you can show that you can master a shot at least 50%, we'll let you take it all day. But there's just no one on this roster that is equipped to do that. But I found that explanation very interesting, where it's kind of classic Shirts. There's an analytical element to it, but he also makes a lot of sense too. I hope I explained that well. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, but I also think that that's kind of that's been the narrative over the last month or so, is that they're lacking that mid-range jump shooter that can. Why aren't they taking those mid-range jumpers? That's not the game anymore. Again, analyticals has kind of I get facetious from time to time talking about analytical numbers because of the fact that you have all of these different stats, but the nerds have kind of taken over sports, and so when you have points per possession, I never heard about points per possession, until like the last 5 or 10 years. And so now that you have that stat, they're gonna take advantage of that stat. They're gonna try to strive for that number and try to get higher than that actual number. And so how do you do that? You do that by taking 3-point shots, and if the 3-pointer is not there, you take a more higher percentage shot, and that's closer to the rim. And so I think there's been this narrative that people, are kind of reminiscent about the good old days, and give me a mid-range jump shooter, and then why do we always chucking up 3-point shots? Well, that's just the game now. If you watch the rest of college basketball, that's kind of what you see, and NBA, that's what you see. You see one-on-one basketball, either get to the rim or have a taller guy outside that can shoot the rock from outside. You don't see these mid-range players anymore that are dominating or even being that relevant, in totality in college or in the NBA. So I think it's more of just like a fad where you're kind of wanting what you used to see and you don't see that anymore. And so it's like, that's what I want to see. So I don't really put too much bearing into that. And I think Shirts is stuck in his way, and that's it. It's been successful. It's not like they're not successful. It's not like they're falling apart now, but when you're 25-4 or 26-4 over the year, it's and you're falling off towards the end. It is what it is. So I'd rather be talking about this versus being under 500 and scrapping, trying to make a deep run in the A10 tournament for relevancy. So we'll see what it goes, and we'll see how they can adjust, and let's see if they can hit, find some open looks and hit some shots. And if they can, Tito will be fired up. Tito will be singing his praises, and I'll be filling out my bracket, and I'll be taking the Billikens all the way to the Final Four, Daddy.
Oh, man, I'm just fascinated by this to see what kind of adjustment Shirts can cook up here. Start on Friday, but just please win this damn game so I know I can be traveling somewhere for spring break without having to go to frickin' Dayton. So there's going to be a lot of drama this week with SLU and Mizzou. That's having me on edge. But, man, other than that, this is an incredible next few days for college basketball. Tomorrow, in particular, is literally my favorite day of the year when it comes to sports gambling. The conference tournament betting system, it kind of comes to a crescendo tomorrow, Tito. It's where the Power 5 conference tournaments are in full swing. You got a lot of the big boys playing tomorrow. Your Dukies are in action tomorrow. You got Arizona playing tomorrow. So I still have to break it all down to go through the whole system, see what's going to be in my card tomorrow. But I will have about 30 bets tomorrow on college basketball games. Can you believe that, Tito?
What an absolute fraud of a guy this is. Wait, what are we talking about here? That's way too many fucking numbers to remember. That's way too much time on your phone that you have to track. And by the way, folks, again, this is how much of a nerd this guy is. This guy tracks all of his plays on the Action Network. So if you think that he's bullshit, he's not. Okay. So I just go on the Action Network or go into his account. I find the first one that I see and I fire upon on that one. But this guy has got like 1,800 different bets. And so yeah, Tito's just been unlucky over the last week because I just cherry picked the top one. And then again, that's a loser. So he's lost me a bunch of money. I'm having to eat ramen noodles. I can't even go to the store and get frozen pizzas. thanks to this jackass over here because of this nonsensical college basketball tournament analysis he's throwing out there. What a big wolf.
Tito's all over me, but yeah, he is right though. I have busy fingers this week. Every single play I make is tracked and transparent. So you want to get all 30 of those bets tomorrow. Tito mentioned the Action Network app. That's where we post everything. It's tracked, transparent. We're really putting ourselves out there. But if you would have tailed every single bet I made, Tito, over the last year and a half, you'd have $2,500 extra in your pocket. So no cherry picking. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to have that little community on there. Mr. Sharp's on there. Sean usually with us on the show. Mr. Sharp, $44.99, up over $4,900 and starting to track there back in June. So
he knew I was loaded for bear tonight. That's why he canceled on us. He knew that Tito was going to hold his ass accountable too. He tried to hold me accountable. I put all my CYC games on YouTube, and this guy's trying to call me out for my coaching. My coaching prowess and getting the team fired up. What a big wolf that guy is. So yeah, follow him on the Action Network. I think it's Mr. Sharp 4499 or some nonsense like this. Again, come up with an actual name in YouTube or on the Action Network. Mine's is Tito's Bets or whatever it's called. So I don't have any freaking numbers in my handle. So take some time, figure out, get a little creative, use AI if you have to, and come up with a fun name that doesn't have nonsensical numbers in it. Like some of the guys in the chat right now got a bunch of numbers on the back end of their name. What a big wolf. Come up with some unique names like Tito, Daddy.
Yeah, we got Maddie in there talking about UNC and Duke. North Carolina forgot how to play the second half against Duke. And Blake saying Duke just remembered how to play. Yeah, there's a good chance we see the Dukies in North Carolina again, Tito, in the ACC tournament. By the way, it was the Missouri Valley Conference semifinals. I cannot remember the guy's name, the announcer, but he's going to be on CBS or Turner for the turn. He says tournament better than anybody I've ever heard in my life. He's the Phillies play-by-play announcer. I know that. I wish I could know his damn name. I could probably just Google this while we're talking about it.
Well,
he loves to talk about the tournament.
Jim Fornarkle. You got like Steve Lapis. I mean, they got a bunch of guys that are dynamite. So, Tito's been doing it over the last several weeks, and I've been watching YouTube all the time. And they got all these Bart's Badness games, and they got all this fun stuff, all the bat, from back in the day with Princeton defeating or upsetting UCLA in Indianapolis, I think in 1996. And I was watching that game. Because I remember watching that game with my brother, and we were all fired up for Princeton shocking the world. And I watched it again, not realizing it was our favorite announcer. It was Gus Johnson on the call. Like, this is awesome. I'm watching Princeton upset UCLA and Ed O'Bannon and Jimmy Herrick. And I'm hearing Gus Johnson going crazy from the sidelines because, Pete Carell and that backdoor play. What an absolute, there are some dynamite things on YouTube especially, this is my favorite time of the year. You talk about Bart's Badness, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. And so watching the buzzer beaters, watching some upsets, and watching, what was it? A handful of years ago, I was over at your place. Who was it? It was Kevin Harlan, and it was Virginia giving it away to what team it was? And
Furman's back in the tournament this year.
Furman, yeah, exactly. And so just an absolute great memories. It gets me fired up every time watching it. I'm fired up right now talking about it, Daddy. So it's a really, really fun time. It's a great time to be a college basketball fan, especially here in the St. Louis metropolitan area with the Illini doing well, and you got Missouri and the Billikens fighting for tournament spots. So it's a great time to be a college basketball fan here in the St. Louis area.
Yeah, I'm glad you got your tickets for Friday at Enterprise Center. That's going to be phenomenal. Yeah, it's Tom McCarthy was the announcer I was looking for. He's the Phillies play-by-play announcer. He does work for CBS and Turner, and he loves talking about the tournament. Oh, I love it.
It's awesome. It's great. Love it.
So that's really all I had top of mind for me. Yeah, the Blues playing out the string, not interested. St. Louis City SC, dumpster fire. Better style play, I guess, but nobody in this team can finish. Tito, I cannot get into it yet. I think I'm just so hoops focused right now. And Cardinals, I'm
into all of it. I'm into all of this nonsense. I thought the Blues had and this is Tito being a super fan. I thought the Blues had a chance, right? I think the Blues, they got rid of Schenner, they got rid of Falk. But I still think they have some core players that they can build around. You got the Jimmy Snuggeroods, you got the Dalibor Dvorskys, you got some other players that are going to be around. You got Robert Thomas, who's a dynamite player. You got fucking Jordan Kyrou, who can't fucking defend and is letting guys do pirouettes around him in overtime and costing us a valuable point. And Joel Hofer standing on his head. This guy's the next coming to Jordan Bennington. We should have shipped Bennington out of here. I'm becoming a huge old Joel Hofer fan. And so I thought there was I thought they could have run the table and gotten to 97 points or so and actually make the Stanley Cup playoffs, but all for naught. They lose in overtime last night to the Islanders, and what a big wolf that was. I don't ever like seeing Patrick Wall, win a game. This guy is an absolute fraud. He always looks so freaking angry. You're an NHL coach, dude. How about you're the greatest goalie of all time, and you always look just pissed off at the world? What are we doing? Okay? How about you put a smile on your face, and how about you throw some hosannas and you be appreciative of the fact that you get to coach a sport that you absolutely love. But this guy, I can't stand watching him. I love watching Monty. I love watching Monty hold the Zebras accountable. But again, the Blues can't hold a 3-goal lead, so that's got me all rattled and fired up. And and related to the STL City, I mean, the first game was awesome. I mean, yeah, they only scored one freaking goal, and Marcel Hartel, was able to finish on that play, and Simon Betcher had some good plays. But ever since then, Daddy, my goodness, you want to talk about a dumpster fire? That second game against, who was the second game against? It was against San Diego, and that San Diego just outclassed them, from top to bottom. And I think there was some, when Hartel got hurt or got sick, and so they were playing with a depleted roster that it appeared. And then last week, man, I mean, I fell asleep about 3 minutes into the game because all they could do was just pass the ball and hold the ball. Whoever they were playing wasn't attacking them. They were allowing City to do whatever they want, but City wasn't doing anything. It reminded me of what they did last year, packing it in and just holding the ball all freaking game long. And then what happens? They give a goal up again in the second half, and they don't score. They don't have any chances. They didn't finish. This is a common theme. How about we actually find some finishers that can actually put the ball in the back of the net? I got a couple sons that play club soccer that can finish better than some of these frauds in here. So not happy, but I do have some great news about STL City. I gave up my season tickets. I gave my season tickets to my brother, but I got a little email earlier today. I signed the boys up for a Schnucks sweepstakes. And, Schnucks is a proud sponsor of STL City. They get to walk the players out. My two boys are going to walk the players out next Saturday night. Tito is taking the older daughter. We're going. The boys are all fired up. They're hooting and hollering. One of my sons is like, "Oh, Dad, do you think they'll let me practice with the team?" I don't think they'll do that. But maybe you could show them a thing or two while you're walking them out there. Hey, why are you trying to do this little move and trying to finish some fucking goals? So I got that going on for me. So I'm proud that we're going to be going to the game next Saturday night. And, it's going to be a fun time, and the boys are fired up. And yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun. And I love watching all these different sports. And you want to talk about the Cardinals? We can talk about the Cardinals. I'm floating from there. Who's this guy's name? This guy's name is
Baez.
His name that they hit like 2 home runs.
Baez.
His ass down. What? Baez.
Joshua Baez. Yeah.
Joshua Baez. What are we doing here, Cardinals? I mean, I thought we were turning the page. Why are we not allowing this guy to stay up here? Why are we not allowing him to hit in the major leagues? Why are we sending him down to AAA for what reason? Whose spot is he going to take? This is a young team. Let him stay up here. Let him try to grow with the team. Let him have some at-bats with J.J. Weatherholt. But, again, tone deaf, can't read the room, can't understand why the fans are not really clapping their hands for you anymore. So guess what? You're going to do another tone-deaf decision like that. So, yeah, I can talk all night about all this nonsense. You got the World Baseball Classic. You got Mark DeRosa, the USA manager, not realizing he's not in the second round or not in the quarterfinal round. So you got to beg and plead. Italy to score 4 more runs, which they ended up doing. So you got guys that he's too busy reading his analytical stats, reading all those fucking wins above replacement, and listen to these other Major League Baseball managers. Oh, don't play my batter or don't play my pitcher too many because we want him, rested up for the regular season. Why the hell do we have the World Baseball Classic in preseason then, Jack? It's a big wolf. I can go on and on all night long, folks. So I'm gonna take a breath and I'm gonna let Eric say some stuff. But my goodness, it's been a big it's been about a hot take central show for Tito over the last 5 or 6 minutes. So I'm gonna take a breath, Eric. What do you got?
Getting steamy over here. Yeah. Italy bailed his ass out. Bailed out DeRosa big time tonight by stopping Mexico, so the U.S. is advancing to the quarterfinals. Like, that is a fireable offense for DeRosa, in my opinion. I don't care that the result is that they advanced to the quarterfinals. You have to know the rules. He's talking about guys that were dragging against Italy yesterday because they were up drinking beer. Like, you have to know the effing rules. It's just like as basic as it can get. So maybe they can go on a run, but just watching, I haven't watched much of it. I'm not going to be a fraud and say that I've watched a lot, but what I have caught, I don't feel like the Americans have the want to that some of these other countries have. This Dominican team, holy shit, man. They have all kinds of fire in them. Obviously, the Japanese are always extremely strong. Otani's doing his thing. I'm not expecting Team USA to make a deep run, but this is the time of the tournament. I do think I want to start watching it, but basketball just takes precedence for me right now at this stage of the year. It's just the way my brain is trained right now.
Yeah, and how often do they do this? They do this every 2 years, every 3 years. What's the protocol on how they do this? Is there a set policy in place? Are they still going to do this when they're locked out? I wonder if they're going to keep on doing this if they're locked out, Daddy. But yeah, seeing on Twitter, seeing all the reactions, seeing some videos from earlier tonight. The Dominican team, they're playing in Florida, playing down there in Miami. The stadium's totally full. They got the drums banging, and they got Albert Pujols in the dugout managing this team. And so, I mean, it's amazing the type of talent that some of these Latin American teams have, and how well they can do. And yeah, the U.S. team, again, this is not like hockey, or this is not like basketball where they want to play for the name of they do, but it's not to the same degree with a World Baseball Classic that it could be with an Olympic or with something else. But it's one of those things where you watch some of these other teams and you're in awe of Juan Soto and you're in awe of Vladimir Guerrero. You got all-star teams that play for their country and they love their country. You can tell how much they love their country by their reactions, by how hard they're playing and all that good stuff. So tip of the cap to those guys for putting in some effort. But yeah, you have the manager of the USA team who wants to spend more time on MLB Network giving hot takes and schmoozing with those guys versus understanding the rules or understand how to manage a freaking lineup. There's no wonder you're in the fucking studio and you're not managing an MLB club, DeRosa. So yeah, what a big wolf.
Yeah, it looks like it's every 4 years they have the tournament. It looks like COVID kind of threw it off the cycle a little bit, but every 4 years is what they're shooting for. Yeah, the Cardinals, like the bias thing, I do think it was funny. I just texted our group chat about him. I saw the 2 bombs. I'm like, hey,
yeah,
this kid might be something. And then like 5 minutes later, get the email. He's been shipped down to AAA camp.
What are we doing? I just don't understand it. I don't get it whatsoever.
I get it. He still needs to develop. Like, I think Jordan Walker, arguably getting him up here too early could have caused an issue with his development. I understand. It doesn't make me angry about it, but it's honestly on the list of factors of why we're stepping away from STL Sports Central. I cannot write about the Cardinals for 162 games this year. I'm a 44-year-old man. You got different priorities now than when I was 24. I just can't sit down for an hour every day and break down a game and write about it. That was high up on the list of factors.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm looking forward to watching some of this team this year, but just like, I only have so much to give, Tito. And I have one child, and I know you have 6 and a billion things going on in your life.
Stop complaining about all the stuff that you gotta do, okay? Look at Tito. I still got a freaking smile on my face, okay? I'm still delivering hot takes on the toilet, so I don't want to hear this nonsense that you got too much other stuff going on, okay, Daddy? No, it's all good. Everyone can ask Tito, how do you manage it or how do you do it, and you don't really understand it because everyone's lives are differently. Everyone's situations are totally different, right? Everyone has their own personality, and so. No, it's all good, Easy. And to your point related to the Cardinals, I mean, that's a lot of commitment. That's a lot of work to have to, review different stats and analysis. And as a part-time job, or as just doing this as a hobby, where we like to come on here and have some fun, and you like to write and like to, have the opportunity. And that's great. That's all good, right? That's good for people. And you do it till you don't want to do it anymore. And that's kind of that's the great thing about STL Sports Central, folks, is the fact that we have the ability to get on here on a weekly basis and kind of talk about our thoughts and opinions on, sports betting and the local teams from that perspective. And you have other guys on here for the post-game shows that are doing a great job. They're out here. They're kind of, they're trying to get exposure. They're trying just to, have a little bit of fun like we are tonight. And it's what's make STL Sports Central awesome. And so, there's a lot of positive things to kind of remember us by. And yeah, easy. It's been, again, it's one of those things where we'll still be able to have our group chat, and you'll still see me on the toilet from time to time. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I get what you mean when you talk about having to sit down and spend a lot of time and energy on something that may not have as much priority as other things in your life. So yep. I get it, man.
Yeah, that's very well said. Oh yeah, that's a good way to wrap up this week's show, except for best bets, because we want to give those out before we get out of here. Because I'm hot right now, Tito. If we're gonna go out, let's go out with a bang. 4 best bet winners in a row for me. I'm going for number 5 here. So I am not overcomplicating this. I could look all over the board, but I don't know any team better than I know my alma mater, St. Louis University, the Billikens. And if Josh Schertz says his concern level after the George Mason game was a 10 out of 10, I don't think I'm overreacting to say I'm in absolute panic mode about this team. So my best bet is just whoever the Billikens play on Friday, whether it's GW or Fordham. For real, this is not just me like mailing in a best bet. This is the one I'd be most confident in. The opponent covering the spread against SLU. This just reeks of a team that's like on the downslide. And once you start sliding down, this reminds me of being at Art Hill with my kid a month ago. Yeah. Once you start sliding, you cannot stop. And Schertz is not going to make any drastic changes. I don't think Robbie's going to be feeling any better with the plantar fasciitis. This is just big trouble written all over it. Last 6 games, 2-4 against the spread. The 2 covers, they had the absolute miracle cover against Duquesne. I don't know if you saw that was featured on SVP's Bad Beats on SportsCenter. Just how it went from 2 to 15 in the last 4 minutes, the lead did. The other cover was the huge second half rally against VCU, which was awesome. But I would argue that is the only good half of basketball they have played over the last 6 games. So I hope I'm wrong about this. I hope I have egg in my face about this take. I hope I'm freaking out about nothing, but I just cannot shake these bad vibes. So yeah, my best bet again, SLU to not cover the spread on Friday against GW or Fordham. So Tito, any thoughts on that, or am I being too negative? And yeah, feel free to give me your best bet too.
No, you're not being too negative, and I like the fact that you're able to kind of look through the different stats and analysis and look at the different teams, and the fact that SLU hasn't covered the spread in several of their past few games is important to note. So, and like you said, when a team starts sliding, they don't stop. So hopefully the Billikens can make some hay and turn it around, and they can give Eric some egg on his face, and I'll be happy. I'll be happy to go over to Eric's house and slap a big old egg across his face, and he can show up on Monday's show with that egg on his face. I could do that for the STL. I can do that for the STL Sports Central crew. I'll tell you that right now. And shut your mouth. What, B Fishman 8742? What does 8742 even stand for? Is that your IQ? I don't even know. What a big woof. So yeah, Tito's best bet. I haven't hit a best bet in like 8 weeks. Okay, folks. I think the last time I had a best bet that hit was back whenever Tito was given prop plays in baseball season, if I'm being totally candid. But my best bet, everyone talks about Tito loving Bart's badness, and what conference is better to talk about Bart's badness than the SWAC? You talk about the SWAC, and you got 2 teams that they're household names. You got Texas Southern and Alabama A&M. I mean, 2 programs that are absolute historic, history-making programs. I'm being totally facetious. I don't even know what either one of these teams. Even one of the mascots is the Wildcats, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the Tigers. Well, what a big woof. So the over under is 144.5. I don't really like that over under. What I like is I think Alabama A&M, they're 1-10 versus Texas Southern against the spread over their last 11 matchups. So I'm going to take Texas Southern and they're getting 1.5 in this matchup. It's minus 120 on DraftKings. I don't know. I'm done picking plus money plays for my best bets, and so I'm looking for a square pick. I should have talked to Eric about some sort of EPL play and a square ass player. Maybe ask the godson about an NHL over, because that guy absolutely loves those plays. So, but I'm gonna go with swag Texas Southern plus 1.5 against Alabama A&M minus 120. Jack, that's my best bet for tomorrow.
That is the Alabama A&M Bulldogs and the Texas Southern Tigers. I think if you did like a Family Feud, most common nicknames in college sports, I think Bulldogs and Tigers might be 1 and 2 along with Wildcats. I think that's your top 3.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah, I think that's a good call. Those are probably double money plays where you get those top 3 plays, you're going to advance to fast money. So, yeah, there you go, folks. There you have it for Domesticated Gamblers. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We got one more show to do, and Tito's going to be loaded for bear on Monday, talking about the brackets, talking about March badness, and Tito's fired up. What a great time of year, and Easy. It's been a lot of fun to talk with you tonight, and all these jokers on the chat. I don't care who you are. Appreciate you guys jumping on and watching us, and yeah, again, support the sponsors, and thanks to all the sponsors, right? You have James Carlton, you got Sam and Evie Sweets from back in the day. So kudos to all the support from everyone here on STL Sports Central. We got one more show, but I'm looking forward to Monday and holding Mr. Sharp accountable too. That guy, I got a lot to say. I got a lot to hold him accountable for. So we'll wait for Monday for that, Jack.
Yeah, Monday night, it's going to be great. The bracket's going to be fresh from about 24 hours to kind of marinate on it, and then we'll give our picks and our leans for all the first-round games of the NCAA Tournament. Hopefully we got the Billikens and Tigers in there and none of this Dayton nonsense in the first 4. We'll also pull the bracket up on the screen, fill out our consensus Domesticated Gamblers bracket. So, yeah, really appreciate you guys joining us. Again, subscribe to the STL Sports Central YouTube channel if you haven't already. Tito's right to always support the advertisers. And this is not just BS with James Carlton. Like, this is for real, guys. This is like save major money. So take 2 minutes and go to carltoninsurance.net. Fill out that super easy form on there that I talked about. Get your quote for your home and your auto insurance or whatever insurance you might need. Hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in potential savings here in 2026. Just like he's doing for me and Tito there with big time savings. So call 314-961-4800 or go to carltoninsurance.net. That is Tito Ulrich, and I'm Eric Sontag, and this has been Domesticated Gamblers here on STL Sports Central, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Thanks for being with us, guys, and we will see you one more time on Monday.
Let's cash.